Welcome to another episode of Tormenta Talk. We are La Tormenta, the official supporters group for West Texas FC out here in Midland, Texas. I am Luke McDonald. I am joined here by my fellow Bad Boys Club members, Cameron McQueen and Brian Hodnett. Thanks for being on this episode, guys. We're recording this on Monday night, so it's just a few nights ago that we had our latest game, which luckily was a win, a pretty comfortable 4-0 win against Arkansas. And so, how was the match for you guys? We all sat, right next to one another, but just how was the vibe in the stadium for y'all? What was your experience watching the game?
Man, I would just say it was a blast. It was great to see another clean sheet. I want to say in the previous 4 games, we've conceded 2 goals. Does that sound about right?
I believe that's correct.
I
think
that's right. So. And so, last time I was on here, we talked a little bit of struggles on defense and stuff. I don't see it anymore. It is absolutely turned the corner. Defense is playing phenomenal, and then we created so many chances. If you would have shown me that game without a scoreboard and then at the end said, yeah, it was 8-0, I'd have been like, oh yeah, interesting.
Should have been 8-0.
Right, it very well could have been.
Yeah, Brian, how was it for you, man?
Man, I don't know. Whenever you get a 4-0, it's just very disappointing. I don't get it, man. I really like the struggle. I like the struggle bus.
I don't at all.
Dude, it was awesome. It was so much fun. It's when you go up 1, 2, 3, 4, you get to do so many more chants, have so much more fun. You're moving around more fluidly. You're like, okay, yeah, I can go get a concession. Yeah, whatever. We're having a great time. The guys. We're playing with their food a bit, but man, they sure showed out. It was nice. Arkansas is a tough team, and like we said, could have went a little different, but controlled it from the top, finished the game out strong. Love to see it.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of really good things to talk about tonight. Mm-hmm. I did this morning get to go out to the West Texas FC soccer camp and say hey to the guys, and it was interesting being so close to the match because it's still fresh, right? You can tell it's fresh on their bodies. Just the physical toll was something I really kind of woke up to. When you see them just kind of week in, week out doing what they do, running as much as they do, you just think these guys aren't human beings. You forget that there's a real toll that it takes on your body, and you could tell that the guys who where a lot was asked of them, they had a little bit of a lighter practice today, right? Just as far as physically, still looking sharp, still looking good, but clearly kind of needing to kind of recuperate a little bit. And after that match, it's I'm not surprised at all. Again, it makes perfect sense, but like I said, I just have forgotten about it. But what a fun game, man. And we've got a lot to talk about. So we're going to be talking about the match. We're going to be looking at kind of some of the players that stood out. We're also going to be looking ahead. Our next game is actually on a Thursday. So we've kind of, I don't know about y'all, I've gotten into this routine of weekends. And so the Thursday thing is really kind of throwing me for a loop a little bit.
Right.
But our next match is not far away, and it's against the team that's currently number 1 in the Lone Star Division, Oklahoma. So it's a very, very vital match for West Texas, and one that I think is vital for Oklahoma too, if they're going to maintain that position. So Cam and I were just talking a little bit about kind of the playoff system, and we'll kind of go into that a little bit. I needed clarity on that. And so I'm sure some other people listening might need it. I am also repping Scotland here for the Fenton crew. Scott and Lucas both. We got to chat some Scotland national team today too. So I was like, hey, I'm gonna wear that today, man.
So full send, man.
Why don't we start kind of what's become a bit of a routine for us? Let's talk about some of the potential player of the match, and then who your official pick is. Cameron, you want to take it away first?
Yeah, man. After a game like that, it's tough. Obviously it can be tough in the other direction if you have a terrible game, right? But luckily, back to a podcast y'all had a long time ago, embarrassment of riches, right?
Yep.
It just there's just so many options to choose. I felt like our defensive line was just very quietly amazing, and to where there was no stress or worries. Not to say Arkansas had zero chances, but even their chances didn't seem very threatening. And that was because of great play from our defensive line and our keeper, both keepers that got time in. As always, Antoine Marquez, Apia, just doesn't quit. And I hate to use a basketball reference, but he's just got that competitive drive of like a Kobe Bryant. I mean, as soon as he's on the field, that switch turns on. He's nobody's friend. He is ready to go for the throw and get it done. And he does all these little things to play the mental game, the head games, and it's just so fun to watch. And then Marcel, man, every time I see Marcel in the midfield, I know like we're going to dominate the midfield. They're going to have a hard time getting through our lines, and we're going to be busting their lines. And so, man, with all that said, I think I'm going to run with Marcel as my pick for the man of the match.
Great pick. How about you, Brian?
Man, Apia, 10 toes down. That header, that curling banger.
Oh, yes.
I mean, look, man, the offense usually gets man of the match, right? But those two things were special. That header, that's an effort play. He had time to sit up and pick his shot and kind of tee up and say, about there for that curler.
Yeah.
That header, man, the hustle through the day, everything else till he got subbed out there close to the end. If I was going to do second place, defensive line, yes, absolutely. Midfield really showed me something. They shored up some stuff.
Absolutely.
Carrick was playing right back. They had some different guys mixed in and out of there. Midfield, they did it. It was great. We had a lot of fun watching a couple of our weapons get out there between, Leo and this and that, right? But Apia, then midfield, defense, definitely a nod. Another clean sheets, obviously what we want every match. But, yeah, Apia is my guy.
Yeah, I think all those are great picks. And it makes me happy because I love going last because, I still don't know who to pick. And when you guys pick somebody, it feels like, oh, I get to pick somebody else. So because I think the whole game we were talking about Marcel just was playing with so much tenacity. I think the press won us this game. And that was when we didn't have the ball, we had 11 defensive players. Mm-hmm. I mean, every single person was fighting hard for the ball, and I loved seeing that. I really think it impresses me whenever – I mean, I'm always impressed whenever we have some, silky play up front and we have some passes going around and beautiful goals scored. But there's something about when you lose the ball and those guys who are capable of that, just bust their lungs to get to the ball, no matter where it's at. That's the fire. And honestly, you can, if you watch that match back, there is every single person who's on the pitch at any given point in time works hard to get the ball back. And at one point when I was watching, I just realized that's the identity of the team, right? Is that everyone wants to win the game and they recognize what it takes to win it, and they're willing to all do dirty work because it's about the team. It's about winning the game. So I think my player of the match would have to be Leo. I think 3 out of those 4 goals, we have a lot to thank Leo for. Not that the other people involved in those goals didn't have some work to do, but 3 of those started with just some insane play on that right wing.
How many times did you and I make eye contact and say, what?
Yeah. Very shifty on Leo's part.
Yeah, I think Chris was calling him the human pinball machine because
Yeah.
it's just the ball was, constantly moving, and somehow Leo just kept it, and I made a lot of stink faces after Leo did a passage of play, just looking at Brian going,
Just like,
Like how?
Ooh.
Yeah.
man. Yeah, so I think all again, and I think we could go on and on. I was really really happy with the way that Cam and Justin have kind of found a rhythm together. That those two guys on the back line, and Justin's moved around on that back line, but man, him and Cam were asked to do a ton. There were times where Cam was on the right touch line, and Justin had to go all the way back there to back him up. And then Cam in the offense, I mean, the guy was like all over the place. I was really just there's something about the comfort of this team, and they're starting to trust one another to where it makes for some really exciting play.
Yeah, Adam impressed me, man.
Yeah,
Using that body,
statement.
he really
Lights out
came
game.
in, had a great match. Like I'm saying, for an 18-year-old, he made sure he told me I misprofiled him, but he's 18. Using that body, using that physicality, and got that nice little sweet goal.
Yep.
I mean, it's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
And he's one who really worked hard too on defense. He
Yes.
saved us from a lot of really nasty situations. Go ahead, Cameron.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is to your point on the press is I told my wife at one point that Adam was playing up on that front left wing, but so many times it was like, God, he looks like a left back up there. He is just shutting them down. He is just locking them up. And then to just further prove my point, we made a sub, and where did Adam go? He got moved to left back because he's got that skill set, and he just played physical all the way up until the point that he was injured, but he worked hard, and he was hungry to be in that game, to be in the starting lineup. You could tell that he's got a major drive behind him.
Yep.
But that whole left side, Ryan did a lot of great work over on the left side working with
Yes, he
Adam.
did.
And then I think Appia's crazy bender goal was assisted by Justin right over there on that left side with
What
a real
pass.
slick pass.
Oh, yeah.
Slick pass, yeah.
Yeah, and that goes, maybe man of the match is actually our coaching staff, all three of them, because
Absolutely.
the way that the team is starting to rotate in and out, like when one player, it's almost like they all know they don't have to stay in that position, right? It's not like they have a little bubble that they can't go outside of, because you'll find, Adem on the right-hand side on the touchline, maybe near the back, but there's always someone slotting in to replace that spot, and they do it on the defense, which I really don't see that much. I was blown away by just how fluid our team is, and we talk, I feel like that's kind of a talking point in football in general right now with, it's one of the strengths of a team like PSG. They can just all do everything. Well, look how many people we've been throwing, from the front line to the defense. I think of Alberto in one game, Justin moving all over. Merchik spent more of the game, right on behind the goal as he did, playing left back. So
Carrick at right back. I mean, move from the mid to the right back. I mean, you saw Appia shift to left wing. I mean, talk about trust by the coaching staff to put these guys and say, fill it in, move your spots, let them play.
Make it
I
work.
mean, of course, they're making adjustments on the sideline. They're pulling them over and making, move here, move there, but they're letting them flow. That's where you see beautiful game.
Yeah.
Let them flow. Let them let them feel it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I don't know what Kanata, what kind of engine that guy's running, but oh my Lord, that guy in the middle of the pitch was just dominating. I mean, he was suffocating, and he got some good shots in, man, and took some good shots too.
Some of those chances, especially maybe the first 20 minutes, he had 3 that it was like, this is it, it's going in, and then, man, so close.
Dude,
It was also my first good look at Ian. I know he had played in Houston, but it's so tough on the stream.
Oh, yeah.
But he had one that hit the crossbar. I was certain it was in. Cam hit the crossbar. It's and then I don't know if we can pick a player of the match from the other team, but the goalkeeper.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you tell us on the way out, Luke? What did you tell us?
Yeah, he looked up at the supporters section. He said, "I don't know who does a highlight reel, but I need to be on it. And we all like clapped and we said, we agree, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
He
he's
worked
the
his
reason it
tail
wasn't
off.
10-0.
That's
Yeah.
right. I mean, he had some
Absolutely.
really great. He had one like kind of double save moment.
Yep.
Can't remember who it is that shot it. Maybe Leo, but and then you know, it's hard. Like you just want to mention every player, which we basically have, but it's true. They really all did play that well.
Yeah.
If we missed any of you guys, if you're listening, we're sorry. Y'all all played amazing. The subs, the starters,
Yeah.
Yep.
from the jump. Back to what Luke said earlier about it, the coaching staff, it phenomenal. And then, like Brian was saying, they're pulling them to the side, making these little adjustments before they sub them in, and it's like it's brilliant because it's like you've now got the voice of your coach going out onto the field to
Yep.
give that update of, hey, this is what we're doing now. Which is, I mean, it just worked out great.
Yeah. Not to mention the fact that, and I didn't notice this watching the game. Probably just you're in it and you're kind of, you know, caught up in the game. But watching back to the film, every single time that we came to the bench, whether it was, you know, in between goals or a water break or halftime, when we went out to the pitch, we looked more dangerous than before. And again, that's credit. You know, I think at one point, Coach Scotty grabbed the board with all the little pegs on it, and we all looked at each other like, "Uh-oh, it's about to get real." You know.
Yeah, mad scientist.
That's right. Yeah, so I'm curious for you guys, you know, there's almost too much good to talk about, right, for this game.
Oh.
But or maybe it's just overwhelming because it's just where do you go, you know? We could go just to the subs, right? Guys like Gabo. Another guy that I feel like I just hadn't really gotten to see play, and you're just like, we've got that, you know, like, oh my Lord.
That talk about an engine. That
Yeah.
dude, and he was fast. That blew
Yeah.
me away. I mean, he just streaked down. I mean, that had to be what Moses saw when the Red Sea parted. It was just like, just floodgates opening wide as that dude just struck down the field so fast.
And the beautiful thing to me, too, is some of these guys coming off the bench is like, all you people that are watching film, I'm looking at the camera right now, all you other teams, all you other coaches, everybody else, look, new surprise. What else now?
Hey,
It's
and
always
we had
something
what?
different. It's always something, you know, somewhere else. You know,
And
we
had,
don't
what,
know what's
8 to
coming.
10 guys, 8 to 10 guys in the stands behind us. That again, I would suit those guys up any day of the week.
They're ready
Any
to go
day.
too. They're chomping at the bit to
Yep.
get in. I mean, look at our guys on the sideline again this week. Everybody's ready to get in the game, and everybody's
Yep.
willing to make an impact. I mean, look at Lucas when he went in and got his minutes.
Yep.
When
Oh,
got
man.
you know, he made an impact again. He went out there
Yep.
just on fire.
Yeah.
Dude,
Talk
he
about
played-
a crunching tackle too, man.
Yes, a
Dude,
tough brand of
Alberto
football.
wanted to get in
I
there
loved
really
it.
bad, man. And he got his rest this week, so
Yep.
he'll be ready for Oklahoma. I bet
He came this close to a goal too.
he did.
That was one of those saves by the keeper, one of Alberto's. But and then there's just I love now that we kind of know these players when Axel goes in, and it's like, well, this game's over. Like that clean sheet is ours.
Yep.
You know,
Put a lock
when
on
you've
it.
got it's done. It's
Signed,
over.
sealed, delivered.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man. And then of course, you know, number 9 just showing why he is who he is, man. Cole Worthmuller scoring that last goal is just like the cherry on top. So when it comes to what's ahead, right? Because now it's like I feel like we are a well-oiled machine. We're playing just lights out football, and we are currently sitting in third place. We have 2 teams above us, and out of the 4 remaining games we have, 2 of them are those 2 teams. So our next game Thursday is Oklahoma City away in Oklahoma, and then our last game of the season is Lubbock away to go play the team up north. So I'm just curious for you guys, how are you feeling about kind of the remainder of the season? What are you looking for? What are you hoping for? What are you expecting? Brian, why don't you kick us off?
So there's this answer in me that's the PC. Let's not put any stuff out there. The nice no bulletin board stuff, and that's probably what you're gonna get most of. But I'm gonna tell you, I believe my team can win every match in front of us, straight up, any way down. It may be 1-0, You know, it may be 4-0. It is what it is. This team is still ascending. They haven't reached their peak. As nice as we looked against Arkansas, that's not it. There's more. I think Thursday night, we get a chance. Again, top of the table. Like I said last time, they came in and they blacked our eye. It's time for us to bloody their nose. The last game of the season is always the fun one. El Dustico. That trophy's going to stay home. I'm going to put it on paper now. Our team is going to go up there with a fight, resolve. We're going to go up there and we're going to, do our best. And I believe we're going to leave that thing with a W or 3 points. And I think we're going to lock it down for the season right there. We have a lot to look forward to, gentlemen. We have two of the best we're going to go face away in their place. This is where we show what we're made of. This is where you get to see, hey, playoffs coming. Cups are coming. This is where the medal's made. This is where you separate the men from the boys. It's time to go hunt. And I believe we're ready to do it.
Well said.
Yep.
How about you, Cameron?
That's a tough one to follow. Brian laid it all out pretty clear, right? But yeah, I mean, winning out would be zero surprise to me. It is the expectation that I see in front of us. 2 big games to win to guarantee being at the top of the table at the end of the season. And I'll stand behind what I said last time I was on the podcast. I think we're going to go to Oklahoma City and we're going to be a different team. And Alberto with that hat trick, right? So I'm sticking with it. And then when we head to Lubbock, they don't even realize what's in store because, as Brian said, we weren't there yet when we beat them 2-1. They had already peaked, and now we'll see.
Yeah, and we shouldn't forget the 2 games in between are no just cakewalks, right? You've got Fort Worth, who's sitting, I believe, right below us in the table.
They're on the
number
heater.
4.
Yep,
yeah,
they've turned it around for sure.
They really have, and I know I've talked to Scotty enough times to know he's not sleeping on those games,
nope.
Right? And we shouldn't either. But I think it's more obviously we get to play the Fort Worth and Brownsville at home, which is an advantage. But we have probably like the 4 best teams ahead of us still to play, and so it's going to be really interesting just to see how those shake out. But like Brian said, the way the team is humming along right now, the standard has just gotten up higher every single game, and there's not a universe that I believe that the coaching staff or any player on the pitch, on the bench, or in the stands is going to let that drop even a notch. I think their expectation is that they will only get better. And that's what we have seen them only get better. I think the first time we saw it fully click was against Lubbock. And I think every game since then, we've just gotten more and more assured of what we have in the arsenal. Mm-hmm. And it feels like, we all of a sudden kind of become the team to beat, which again brings about some danger, right? And so, but I think our guys are good for it. I see it in their eyes. I see it in the way they play. I see it in the way that they train. Getting to watch them train today, there was no punches being pulled. It was like, we're here to work. We're here to get better because we know we can. And I can't wait for this last run of games of the regular season. Mm-hmm. Is it to where if we win all these games, does that put us in first? Well, like, is it in our hands to finish top of the table?
I believe it is, really and truly.
I haven't done the math, but I can't see a world where we beat both Oklahoma and Lubbock and don't accomplish that.
Now, the only hitch, if I'm not mistaken, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, goal differential. Right now, we're equal with Oklahoma. So if we beat Oklahoma, they have a draw and a loss against us. So that would increase our goal differential against them. If we beat Lubbock, that's 2 losses for Lubbock. Doesn't matter if they draw or not at that point.
They're below.
Done. Right. So then that puts us up there, especially goal differential. So really and truly, it's in our hands. last year we needed a little luck. We needed Laredo and Brownsville to do a little something, needed this and that, and Laredo won a cool free kick and put us in first place. The road for the playoffs to go through Midland is in these fellas' hands.
Yeah.
These lads right here at home.
Yep.
And I believe they can capture that, and I believe they can take it, and then I believe they can take us to the mountaintop.
So it's not mathematically assured if we win every game, but it is. It would put us tied on points with Oklahoma City, and so if our goal differential is higher than theirs, then we would beat that tiebreaker and finish top of the table.
I would assume so because the head-to-heads cross out at that point.
Right.
They beat us at home, we beat them at home. If everything goes the way we say it's going to go.
Right.
So then it's just run the scores up, do as much as you can, because who knows who they play next. I think they're same level games as us. I think Lubbock's one ahead game of with us.
Right.
That's correct.
So at that point, it's whoever you play, try to run the score up as much as you can, because I know they will.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to really host playoff games through Midland, they got to finish the job. That starts with Oklahoma. That finishes with Lubbock. Win and win big.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that also ties into the playoff discussion we were having earlier, Luke, of that obviously winning your conference matters for home conference games.
Mm-hmm.
Then when you face other champions of conferences, that goal differential is where it really kicks in. Of it's important to have that good goal differential because that's the tiebreaker at that point, and that's what's going to determine, outside of some asterisks, but for the most part, that's what's going to determine if we're taking these long road trips or if people are taking long road trips to us. And those playoff games happen fast. I remember last year it was like, holy cow, every time I turn around, there's a freaking playoff game over and over again. It's
Wednesday, Saturday.
Yes, exhausting, but so much fun. And especially whenever our boys get to stay home and just keep having people come to us, I see us going real far in that situation.
Yeah, and having a deep squad, man, that's when you really rely on that. And I'm so thankful that our guys have it's got to be tough, like fighting for minutes among this crew has to just be brutal. And I really applaud every one of them who are sticking it out, who are dueling, who believe. And again, I think we've seen almost all of them play enough to know, like, it's a toss-up between a lot of these guys. Like, there's not a single player that I'm surprised if they start. It's more like, oh, man, he must have had a really good week, because I think they're all at that level. I think we've seen a couple of guys who consistently get on the pitch, but if some of those guys are on the bench, which they have been at different times, it doesn't surprise me, and I'm not upset about it. I'm not worried about it. It's like a fill in the blank is getting the start, and so is not even on the bench. Okay, interesting, man. This would be fun. Bummer for them, but at the same time, that's, I guess, kind of the gig, and that's part of what Scotty's built an identity that goes beyond single people getting what they want, and it's much more about the identity of the team and the team getting what the team wants.
Yeah. Yep. Well, after you and Chris pulled off, Luke, we're sitting over there hanging out with some friends of ours, and then a couple players start pulling out, and of course Lucas Fenton comes up, and we asked him about the match and everything else, and of course he said, "Man, it's tough out here. Tough getting in their game. Iron sharpens iron. We're playing. It's tough. These guys are really good in this club, so we're fighting for minutes amongst each other." So he used those words, iron sharpens iron, and I love that because he understands there's a battle inside the house to try to get on the pitch just in front of us. I mean, I feel grateful for guys like that. I feel grateful for a team like this that makes it that damn difficult to get out there and show yourself on the pitch. Because, I mean, it could be somebody playing favorites. I don't know, we'd be where we're at if somebody's playing favorites with their guys out on the field. Yep. I love the iron sharpens iron mentality. I tell that to my kids. I tell that, it's daily in life. And it's good to see with our soccer club that they're doing that too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because they all see that, like, they want to play for this club. They see each other as brothers. But brothers they're competing with. I mean, just like if you had siblings or whatever, you wanted to be better, right? But then at the end of the day, when the match comes, you want your brothers that are on that pitch to win, and you still want to root for them. That you see them going down to the field after it's over, giving high fives, hugs, all huddling up together, having the post game talk and everything, and they're building something that's a lot more special than just, well, these 11 guys are my 11 guys, and everybody else. If someone gets injured, maybe you'll get in. So
Yeah. Well, and I think something that we've talked about, to be the best, you got to beat the best. And there's something about if that mentality is on the pitch on Monday morning, in order to really make a difference for the team, I have to be better than these guys. And these guys are incredible. I'm incredible too. And they are also incredible, which means in order to get those minutes, I have to beat the best. Then whenever you do get those minutes and you're out on the pitch, you want to be against the very best, right? And so and Scotty talked a lot about that, right? When we talked to him, he said that he has competition going every single practice that they have, because that instills this kind of grit and determination that you need in those games. And so if you have it on the training pitch, then you have to do way less work, conjuring that up for a game, because it's just their lives for this summer. And it's really admirable to do that and have a good attitude about it. And, we've spent a fair amount of time with these players, and we get to interact with them quite a bit. We've been really lucky this season to be able to do that. And all I sense is gratitude, good attitudes, excitement for how the team is playing, excitement for the potential of the team. When new players come in, it's not oh man, like this jerk or whatever. It's like excitement. It's like, this guy is awesome. He's really going to help our team.
See what he did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes like a seriously mature individual to be able to kind of have that mentality and attitude. And I'm really impressed by every single one of these guys. And again, couldn't be more proud to have them representing my community and my team. Like that's, if it doesn't matter where you finish in the table when you do it that way. But kind of like we talked with Jason Cannon, one of the owners, at the tailgate before the game, which, another plug for the tailgate, you get to talk to the coaches and players and ownership. You get to talk to everybody. But he said, that this season they believed that we could still be competitive and do it the right way, that we can have it all. And it was a gamble to do it that way. And that gamble is just paying dividends right now. Because can you imagine, rolling the dice on that and saying, okay, we're going to go with values and we're going to go with a mentality with certain types of individuals. And it's not just about how good you are on the pitch, but how you go about it. To hire and fire based on that is a gamble, because some of the best coaches of all time are a-holes, and that's just sometimes how it goes. Some of the best players are a-holes, and so somehow we ended up with the best players, and none of them are that way. And that's just like, what a testament to the ownership all the way down to the last person leaving the pitch. I'm just like over the moon with everybody involved with this club.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well, Scotty told us in that coach's meet and greet and said, look, it's about character. It's not about, performance. So we're seeing that. We have performance, and we also have character. How many guys after that loss against Oklahoma were apologetic? How many were really genuinely excited after that win against Lubbock?
Yeah.
How many were over the moon when we beat Arkansas?
Yep.
I mean, look at these guys, man. And they're happy for each other. It's a brotherhood. Yeah, they want more minutes if they didn't get a lot of minutes. That's natural.
Oh, yeah, they should.
Good job.
I would be mad if they didn't.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So you're watching competition. You're watching healthy competition.
Yeah.
And it's making them all better. I mean, every match, you're seeing improvement from every player out there.
Yep.
Even if it's a position that they're not familiar with, they're getting better at something. And that's got to be scary for the rest of the table. That's got to be scary to see that we haven't peaked yet. We're still ascending.
Yeah.
These guys right here, I mean, Thursday night's going to show us. It's going to be a medal test. To be the man, you got to beat the man. We're the champs till we ain't. We won Lone Star Conference last year. And I think we're going to win it again. Now, Thursday night starts with Oklahoma.
Yep.
And we're going to see this brotherhood come up on a road trip. It's a long ways up there, but you're going to see that bond. You're going to see that family. This is that brotherhood, man. All gas, no brakes, everything they got on that pitch up in Oklahoma instead of how many thousand they have on Military Appreciation Night, by the way. Good job, Oklahoma. Love that.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So we're going to go up there and we're going to steal the show. It's going to be a nice night.
Cameron, what have you seen, from kind of your vantage point as far as the progression of the team and where you think, what's that next step? What's the next step for West Texas FC?
Man, first off, just like what we were just talking about, the character side of things, it just shows in spades. Into the game, what's the first thing you see those guys doing? Coming by to all of us that have been sitting right behind their seats, cheering them on, and they're saying thank you. Like, so glad you came out. They're excited to see us, like as if we're something special. And it's like, no, we're excited to see you guys. Like, we love what you're doing for our community. And it's not just the players. I was telling my wife again just the other day that, I think it's Mateo, the goalkeeping coach, like, he is, whether it's at the watch party or at the end of a game, first thing he does is come give fives to everybody. Last thing he does, come give fives and shake hands and stuff, and say a very genuine, thank y'all for being here. Thank you. And so that's just like Scotty said, that's the important stuff right there, right? That's, showing these guys how to become good men, right? That's so much more important than, going 10-0 or 0-10 or whatever it may be. But then in terms of the pitch, I think it is realizing our potential is the next step. Last year, I think we had a squad that could have won it all. You started seeing some pieces kind of near the end of the season, maybe injuries or maybe moved on to different opportunities or whatever it may have been. But we got pretty skinny on the squad there. And it was, at times it was like, oof, I don't know if we have any subs. And, we saw that from Arkansas. They had one sub on the bench, and that's a rough spot to be in.
Yeah, that's heat. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. And then especially when you come up against really stiff competition, it's one thing early in the season when everybody's trying to figure stuff out. But whenever you get 3 rounds deep in the playoffs and you're playing legit contenders at that point, and you don't have anything to turn to whenever someone's having an off night, whenever someone, pulls a hammy or whatever it may be, you're just kind of like, well, assistant coach, can you suit up? Because that's kind of where we're at. But that luckily that's not where we're sitting today. And that's super exciting to see that almost all the pieces that we brought in are still here. They're sitting behind us in the stands, cheering their guys on. And I think we've got some other guys that are ready to go that aren't even a part of that group yet. Some local talent and stuff like that. And so just super exciting. But then to see us now take that and realize that potential to really get to where I think we could, which honestly is winning the NPSL. I really think we could do that.
Yeah. No, and I think last year we saw it was always going to be interesting, right? Once you got out of the Lone Star division, because these are the teams we know. Everything after that is like an unknown, right? I mean, we don't watch game film on all these other teams. We don't kind of know their history, their background.
Right.
And I think we saw like this is doable. Like this is attainable. This division is a very good division. I would back any of the teams that win this division to do really well and go really deep. And I think if we can make it out of here, especially if we can top this division, I would back us. I really would. Especially if we can keep this squad together. I think that'll be the key. And I feel like the coaching staff and the culture that we built has gone a long ways to make sure that happens. But and I'm glad you mentioned the coaches. Scotty told us there was one game last year he was kind of ready to suit up. It was like it was looking that thin where it was like, all right, I'm ready. And I saw him play today. Kicking the ball around with everybody, and it was like, all right, I'd take him. I saw Mateo playing in goal during training, and it was like, I would back that dude, man. And we hadn't even mentioned, and it would be a shame to not mention Pedro. We got to see Pedro for the first time out on the pitch, and his first move was he was sitting on the 50-yard line,
Man,
It scared
confidence,
me, man.
just it was oozing out of his ears, the
Yeah.
confidence and the the stability when the ball came to his feet. Every single one of our keepers has it, but it
Yeah.
just blew me away that like if you're gonna call anything a third string or team or whatever, like it's still there. Like Keegan not even suited up because we know that Santi and Pedro can handle it, and then they both got minutes, and guess what? Clean sheet. And so,
Yep.
man, I was blown away by
Mhm.
Pedro.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no such thing as a third string on this team.
No,
Right.
You have
nowhere.
situational components.
Yep.
So
Absolutely.
we have dudes that can be physical, dudes that can be fast, dudes that are good with this, dudes that are good with that. That's what I'm saying is watch our film, watch our podcast, and guess what's going to happen, what Scotty's going to put out there.
Yeah.
Say
I've been
what you want,
shocked.
man. You know,
I've been shocked by the lineup every time. It's never once been what I would have put out there, and it's always been better than what I would have done. It's been just
see,
phenomenal.
that's
Yep.
what I'm saying is Oklahoma Thursday. What we saw at our house isn't the same Oklahoma team from what I've seen on watching film and things like that. But I know you, Scotty's going to be ready. Eli's going to be ready. Mateo's going to be ready.
Hmm.
And all them dudes they're going to put out there and carry on that trip, on that bus ride, they're going to be ready.
Yep.
I mean, everybody's going to be ready. Melissa's ready. Luke's ready. Tim's ready. I'm ready. Watch
That's
party's
right.
ready. Steven's ready.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Let's
That's
go,
right.
man. I
Yeah.
mean, we're going to go out there and give everything they're going to give everything they got. We're going to give everything we got back here at home. Hopefully they feel the support. Tall City Watch Party. Y'all show up. Let's get this.
Absolutely.
Get there early, too. The run crew is going to take that place over if you don't get there early.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn them into fans, man.
Yep.
Oh, it's not going to be hard.
Yeah, I agree. The team does that, right? But I do think I talked to Pedro after the game. He came up and gave me a handshake, just like he always has, And I always tell him, man, I can't wait for you to get out there. And so when I saw him, it was like, man, I'm so happy that I got to see you play. You made me really nervous, and and
Yep.
he just laughed and he was like, I got it. Like
Yep.
didn't bug. He was like, don't worry about it, And I was like, okay, But yeah,
I think I saw on his Instagram where he said that was his semi-pro debut, and
is that right?
so yeah,
Yeah.
which is awesome. The amount of confidence that he had in his first game, playing not only for West Texas FC but semi-pro at all, at a team that's got a freaking legit lineup. Like it wasn't like he just barely squeaked into some team somewhere. Like he he's a legit baller, and
Yeah.
he had a ton of confidence about it.
Yeah, another thing that is worth pointing out, and again, we're kind of jumping all over the map, so I apologize to any listeners. We're normally a little more structured, but one huge difference in this game, against Lubbock, we knew Lubbock would have the ball a lot, and so the strategy was a kind of sit back, counter press as much as possible, and then attack quickly. Let them have the ball. When you get it, do something with it fast.
Right.
This was. We knew we were going to have more of the ball, and so it was much more of a possession game, which is just like, it's almost like, knowing how to ride a bike and then going, okay, now I'm going to ride it backwards.
Right.
It's just so different of play, but our guys just took to it. It just was like, that's what we've been doing all year. Right.
Yep.
And, when you've got different ways to play the game and be successful, that's when a team is totally unstoppable. Yeah, when there's more than one way to win. I mean, even in the Premier League, how the teams are going to play, and it's just this system versus this system. Any team that can play multiple systems based on how the game's going, or maybe even swapping systems mid-game, that becomes a team that is very, very difficult to break down because you constantly have to be adjusting to them. That puts you on the back foot, and that's something that the progression of this team that I've seen that I'm really excited about. And I'm excited to see what else we have in the locker because like you guys have said, I don't think we've seen it all. And so, yeah. Another thing I'll point out, and again, not that we needed any more advantages at this point, Scotty is rocking a mustache.
Oh, the mustache.
He
Oh, man.
said he's gone full Aussie. And it's just like, holy hell. What are we in store for?
Yep. He's ready to go now.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Keegan holding it down.
That's right. It suits Coach. So we'll be looking forward to that. So any other words that you guys have about Lubbock? We want to make sure and support Tall City. Go to the watch party. It's the best place to watch away games. and support the team. A lot of times, some of the players show up to those. I don't know who all is making the trip, but you maybe even get a chance to watch it with some of the coaching staff and or players. So that's worth it. Get there early, like Brian said.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you're ready for the home games. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is our second to last watch party for the regular season. I won't be at the last one. I want to be in Lubbock for the away game.
Me too.
We got Oklahoma. Then that Wednesday after that, Fort Worth's coming to town. I believe the Saturday after that, we got Brownsville. And then a week from that, we go up north. So let's make it a good one for Tall City. They've supported us all year. Let's show them some love back, right?
Well said.
And it's always a good time. I mean, they're going to try to get us some tables situated out. That run crew. And if you like to run, you want to do 5Ks, shout out to the run crew. They're awesome people, very nice, very positive. If you don't like to run, you can walk. They'll do all the whole thing. I've been in there for a couple of them as a guest. Super class people, top notch. But we need to get them involved with our soccer club here. They can definitely come help support. But definitely come check us out at Tall City. And then after that, a couple home games, an away game, and then hopefully hosting some playoff games.
That's right.
So it's going to be a great run, gentlemen.
And anybody who does want to go to the Lubbock game, hit us up if you need a ride, man. There's a crew going. So, if you want to roll up there with us, just let us know you're going. Let us know you need a ride. Let us know you want us to save you a seat next to us, right? I mean, we're going into into an intense place. So, it's a little better if we're in a pack.
Let us know if you have a party bus that you want to drive down there. That'd be cool too. We're here for that. We'd be glad to mooch.
Any last words there, Cameron?
Man, I just want to give hats off to Arkansas. They seem to be very classy in defeat. They were, still handshaking our other players. They, came by and, the goalie spoke to us. They were cleaning up the mess that they had on the bench or whatever. Just in general, you didn't see it get nasty and turn into a bunch of red cards or any of that kind of stuff. And so just major hats off to that organization that, hey, didn't have your best game, but you still had great character. And so can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Yeah. Several of the players came by and kind of gave us some claps, and it was like, man, that's got to be brutal. And they really did play a good game. I think they had several opportunities, and unfortunately for them, our guys were just up to the task. And I really, I would, if I was an Arkansas supporter, I'd be really proud of that team. Kind of like we've talked about, because you can tell that they've built a culture of high character as well. So, I'm glad you pointed that out. Hats off to them.
Yeah, very nice. Guys, home stretch. Everybody watching, everybody else. All gas, no brakes from here.
That's it.
We need to send it home. Our destiny is in our hands, in these fellas' hands.
Yep.
Hey, win out. Control your own destiny. Don't do as much. Don't try as hard, whatever. Leave it up to whatever happens. Go do the thing. Go win. And let's have some fun and head home for the playoffs, guys. Let's do this.
All right, and on that, we'll call this meeting of the Bad Boys Club to adjourn, and we will see you guys at Tall City on Thursday.